Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. Hi everyone. The topic of this episode is how do we draw quick conclusions and why? So, as usual, the most favorite host and co-host.
Co-host with the mostest, yes.
Mo and I are here. So basically, again, the moral of the story is why do we draw conclusions very quickly on different things? And then how do we do that? Why do we do that? So I'm going to bring up some examples.
Well, I think drawing conclusions, from my perspective, I think it's a natural thing to, give away your opinion because they're free.
Yes.
Whether you want them or not.
Actually, you know what? This is the thing. First of all, I would say natural. I wouldn't think it is natural.
Not for me.
Yeah. We have learned how to do this. We want to have answer for everything, even if we don't have an answer for. And then, yes, we do develop opinions just randomly because I want to. And we do think, as it said, you have the right to have your own opinion. I say, actually, you don't. You have no right to have an opinion if you cannot back it up.
Right. If you don't have the knowledge, you have no right to the opinion.
That is correct. If you say something, go ahead and say it, but it doesn't mean anything. I said, when you get on a plane, you don't go tell the pilot, in my opinion, you should push that button. It would be silly, Your opinion doesn't count.
Or you tell your surgeon what it is he's got to do to fix you.
Exactly. And actually this happens more frequently, that I'm coming to you, I'm telling you what my problem is, which I have had at this happening. Very seldom it happens that somebody comes and tells you, this is my problem and I want you to do this so that I get better. So one case I had that, I think you remember that, but that I told him, I said, if it worked.
It wasn't me. No,
I'm not pointing.
Get this straight. It wasn't me. No.
But for example, the person comes and says that this is my problem and this is the solution and I want you to do that. I said, have you done it on your own? Yes. Did it work? No. So you want me to repeat the same thing?
So he knows what his problem is, first of all.
Correct.
Okay.
He thought he knew and he knew the solution too.
Okay.
And the solution didn't work. But magically, if I would apply that solution...
It's in the magic hand.
So now I'm going to get back to a few examples that I have in here that, when we draw conclusions randomly.
Before you get to the examples, again, this is not in general, this is for me. I think if you get that feeling of if you don't give an opinion when somebody asks or tell you something, you would come across as stupid.
This is unfortunately true.
Yes.
And this is one of the value systems that we have to change. That we should respect people that they say, I don't know.
If somebody says, I have no idea.
Yeah. Or I know this much.
Right.
Versus I know. Unless if they really know. Then that's another story.
Yeah, fair enough. No, if you go ask a pilot about a flying thing, sure. Yeah. You can maybe take his word for it. So no, I get that.
This is...
But yeah, you just feel out of place and you feel...
As a matter, I'm not sure if it is. It is when you say that you're talking about your own feelings.
Yep. I feel for me.
Yeah. I feel very comfortable to say I don't know. Yeah. For example, even during this COVID time, 2 years ago, I had one of the friends that she asked Mo, "You're a very smart man." I said, "I agree."
and very humble, very humble.
No, but seriously, she said, "You're a very smart man. What is your opinion about COVID and the vaccination?" I said, I'm a physiotherapist and
I'm not a disease specialist.
I don't know how the vaccine is made. I have heard some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about the viruses that much.
Right.
I don't know. And then she insists, but you're very smart. You should, you have studied something. I said, yes, I am smart. And that is why I know that I don't know.
So can you qualify your opinion by saying, I don't know a lot about the COVID vaccine, but the little bit that I've read, I think this.
Normally, I even try to avoid to say I think because I don't even know how to think in that field. Mm-hmm. So I would say I've heard this, period. Somebody said this. But what are my thoughts? I don't know.
So you're stealing someone else's opinion.
I'm not. It's not. Actually, for example, I have said about the climate change. For example, the doesn't matter if you're pro or against the climate change, whatever it is. I say the big boys and the girls of that club they say it is existing,
Mhm.
and that human has affected that.
Right.
So I just respect them.
Right.
That's
true.
all. That's
true.
all. Can they make mistake? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But they're a lot less than
Correct.
the
odds
non-scientists.
the odds of them making a mistake is less
Yes.
than what.
And
you
of course,
would.
I have now. I'm repeating this, but somebody said that. Do you trust them? I said, well, I do. I have to trust somebody, but I do trust them more than somebody who doesn't know at all.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's true.
I have to do something. I have to take a position.
Mhm.
You have to follow somebody. It's not my field. And by me learning a little bit about climate change does not qualify me to talk about it.
Right.
And normally to get a better feeling of it, everybody, you guys that, for example, you have, everybody is expert in something. Just, I'm sure you have run into this situation that somebody comes and tries to teach you or have their opinion on what you are good at. See how you feel about it. It's just a kind of a dumb thing.
Yeah.
For example, you previously worked as a general contractor and you knew about that. If I come and tell you how the general contracting works, it would be a bit silly.
It would be dumb. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And instead of just simply come and ask question.
Sure.
And this is the thing I have said, really we should encourage asking question more than
I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah, more than having a good answer.
Yeah.
And if we would change that behavior in our, from the especially new generation, because the older generation normally we have got used to a habit, to change the habit is a bit harder. But if we do that, I'm sure a lots of problem they never ever happen. So we don't have to solve anything because it just doesn't happen.
Right.
I genuinely believe most of the problems in the whole world that are happening is because of this one behavior, lack of curiosity and having opinion and ideas on the things that you are not qualified to have.
An uneducated opinion, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, somebody challenged me, how can you say that? I said, what are the things that they make your day really terrible? Let me know. And then we went, actually, we really did that as an exercise. What made your, and then a lot of it was because, or his boss or his friends or, somebody made an assumption on what he was thinking, what he was doing.
Exactly.
And then they made his life a bit difficult. And some of it was his own assumption on what they were doing, made their life difficult as well as his own life.
So they came to a conclusion in their own mind without clarifying what was said.
Actually, a lot of anxiety happens just like this. I say something, oh, did I hurt feeling? And if I say that, you might feel that way. Or the other person, you don't know that. Just go ask them. If they didn't answer to your text or immediately, if they did, I don't know, they did something.
Then you're ignoring me. Yes.
Yeah. You just come up with your own ideas, but simply go ask. That's it. If you're really that interested. If somebody cuts you off, just, if you really are interested, go ask them, why did you cut me off? Did you notice that? Versus, you think you're better than me. I can do this, I can do that. Just, you don't have to get mad. Just simply ask questions. A lot of things will get, actually not resolved. They never happen.
Where we encourage questions, not comments.
Yes.
Where did I hear that one?
I think me. But now I'm going to come up with some, and I hope that, you guys as listeners, if you can, think and just come up, kind of to remember the things that maybe you have done yourself or somebody has done it to you. It is easier to see other people's flaw. But anyway, if we can reflect back to see that, have we done it, and do we make the same mistakes that, for example, we come up with some conclusions that really we should not have because we just didn't know the facts. But I'm going to anyway say a few of the examples that, it has happened to bring the concept a little bit more home. For example, I built this house that the ones that they are watching the video part of it, they see some stuff in here. The house is a little bit unique, in a few aspects of it, maybe a little bit more than a bit unique. But then, for example, one of the friends, when she saw this, she asked me that, because I was born in Iran, she asked me that, which part of this house is Iranian?
All of it. See, how's that for a conclusion?
Then I said, really nothing. No, the house is different. I said, yes, I know. But which part of it, you got it from Iran? I said, really nothing.
Like,
but
why?
She kept
why
insisting.
would you think that? Yeah,
because it was something different. So if, for example, I don't know, the white Canadian had done it in here, I'm not sure if she would have this, which part of it is Iranian?
True. Yeah.
She wouldn't ask that question. I don't know what question would be. What is wrong with you as a white Canadian that you made the house so different? I don't know. And when she kept insisting, then I said the windows. Windows are Iranian.
So what? So you just gave up and just said something.
I had to come up with an answer for her. She was just insisting. The fact was that then afterwards I said, no, the reason that the house is different because I thought about it. I want in here, the weather is very cold. We have long winters and I want to make sure that the indoor feels good. I want to make the winter easier. So I went and studied that kind of the things that they do it for me. That, for example, if I have bigger windows, if you can see outside, if you have plant inside, so I build an indoor garden. If you put some lighting outside so that at night when you turn the light on, or for example, there is brighter outside, it feels more bigger.
But all of these things that you're listing of what you did is absolutely nothing to do with being a previous Iranian.
No.
Zero.
It had to do with the fact I want winters easier.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was my whole goal. Now, if during this process something matched with being Iranian, it was not because it was Iranian, it just happened. And I have said this several times. I do some stuff that they might be matching some Iranian. I do some stuff that they might match some Canadian. And there are people that they say the part that matches the Iranian, oh, you're Iranian. The part that matches the Canadian, oh, so you're copied the Canadian or you're Canadianized. And then the part that matches the Chinese or I don't know, the African and the Spanish, I don't know, they don't come and say that. No, which I said that at what part it becomes me. Correct, there is some similarity somewhere with somebody somewhere. But it doesn't mean that I got it from there. Maybe I have got the idea, but the same way that I got the idea from the Chinese and the African and the, I don't know, Spanish, is the same thing that I got it from Iran and Canada or Europe. It has nothing to do with the, the way that they say. But so do we do, again, these things very commonly that we just generalize it in a very unreasonable way. And normally I say generalization is okay. At times, for example, we can generalize some stuff. For example, in certain cultures, being on time really is not that important.
It's more of an idea than a thing. Yeah.
So, for example, if you say 3 o'clock, so it means 3 o'clock somewhere, not exactly where you're at. And the generalization maybe makes sense. But normally I say that even in that case, you want to be ready to be proven wrong. So if the person that is coming from that culture, it happens not to be late, then you can accept that this person is, the culture is not really affecting her or her. It's just on time. So sometimes generalization we do, but sometimes we take it to the extreme. And then where are we taking it to the extreme? When we just keep pushing. Another example, I had one patient of mine that he one person he said, so you're a Muslim. He asked me, I said, no, I'm an atheist. He said, how? You cannot be an atheist. I said, why? Your name is Muhammad. Well, that's my name. My mama name is Muhammad. But you can be. And he had such a hard time computing this, that, these two can go together. And which...
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's something I thought of just for conclusions in general. It's the way that I see it. It's life experiences and knowledge led that guy to believe that every single Muhammad is a Muslim. I mean, watching a movie, you see a Iranian-looking guy, yeah, he's Muslim. And
yes,
you just don't know.
And this is that sometimes we get stuck with those things. And this is that how flexible are we to be ready to be proven wrong?
Right.
Yes, you can make an assumption, and I would say it's okay. If I see somebody, let's say, well-dressed and clean and tidy, I get a different impression of them in general versus somebody who, for example, comes with dirty clothing or something. Somebody who is more buffed up versus somebody who is, small. I may get some ideas. If the small guy comes and said that I'm a football player, I would be a bit questioning that. And if, what I'm trying to say, just there is a bit of a relationship.
Yeah, sure.
But I will be ready to be proven wrong. So some of the generalization makes sense to some extent, but to be stuck on it, and that becomes a little bit too much.
So, I mean, it's really being okay and as you say, being ready to be proven wrong, and having that open mind to listen to it, and if it's what you think more correct, or that person is better knowledgeable within that area, you are okay with accepting that.
Correct.
But I don't want to call it vetting it, but you've got to also then make your own judgment whether that guy is telling the truth or telling what is correct.
Correct. I understand where you're going. But as a general rule, you want to be flexible to, and understanding. Another thing that I want to say, for example, sometimes, let's say the crime is a little bit more among a certain group of people. And at times, we connect it to the race versus I'm not sure if crime is a gene in a certain race. Crime, to best of my knowledge, has more to do with poverty. And when I say poverty, I'm not just talking financial poverty. I'm talking, cultural. That yes, the culture maybe in a certain race would be a little bit more, for example, let's say in Islam, forgiveness is not a very common thing as much. Versus Christianity, that they say if you slap you in the face, turn the other side, because it has promoted that peace and love and this thing. But in Islam, if somebody slaps you in the face, you're responding by a punch in the face. So violence is a little bit more encouraged, and that is true. The culture of a society promotes a certain behavior.
I'm battling with the word culture that you're using, because the examples of what you just said is more religious, not culture.
Remember, religion and culture are good. They go very much hand in hand. And the religion affects the culture, and culture affects the religion. So the same religion in different cultures is different. I don't think we have to go too far with that.
Yeah, can you just repeat that once more? Did everybody get? Yeah, sure.
Okay, religion religion affects the culture. So, for example, you see among let's say the countries that are more Muslim, or for example more Christian, the culture gets affected by the religion of that society. But at the same time, different societies, they change the religion to fit their culture.
I think this could be a whole separate podcast. Sure.
So basically, we change it as we wish to fit in with what we want.
Yeah.
But another thing, for example, the correlation, when sometimes some of the conclusion, there is a study that they show when the ice cream sale goes up, the number of shark attacks increases.
That makes 100% sense.
That does. But so the correlation, the only thing is that it is summer.
And ice cream is dangerous.
Yeah, don't have ice cream. But so statistically is correct. But the point is that the relationship is not the correlation and causation that they say. This is correlated, but the cause is not the cause.
Right.
So sometimes we do make those kind of mistakes. That how do we draw conclusion? Again, this is where I'm going. That we draw conclusions very quickly. We want to come up with an answer, and then.
I also think you draw conclusions in a way that'll suit yourself.
A lot of time, actually, very much, very frequently, the conclusion, if you do something, the way I think of it is more of a reflection of me versus reflection of you. Very frequently that happens.
Yeah. And I think that's just based from your own mindset, your own knowledge, your own experience of who you are.
Yes. So again, because of that, we have to, again, if we start asking questions, then we can prevent from our own experience to affect our, conclusions.
Your conclusion or...
Yeah, and it will become a lot more objective. In the science field, it is done that way. Yeah. There is no feelings specifically. You just have to have something to back it up. And I'm going to just add one more thing. That, for example, I did a podcast that how to use a can opener. If you haven't watched it or listened to it, you should. And then this is the interesting part. For example, I had this friend of mine that she borrowed a can opener, exactly the same thing that got broken before that by somebody else. And then when she wanted to borrow it, then I said, you can use it this way. And then after the fact, she told me that she found it funny, and she had brought it with her friends that I told her how to use the can opener. And then I know how to use a can opener. Then I told her, the person who broke the can opener, she thought the same way. She thought she knows how to use the can opener, but
Is
she
this a-
broke the progress one.
Is this a very intricate special can opener?
Yeah. No. But the point is that no, it was not. It was just that when you grab the can, lift the can up. Don't put the can on the thing and just, that
Right.
will let it freely to move.
Right.
But, and the idea is that I said, I don't know what you know. I don't know what you don't know.
Right.
The whole thing is that I'm supposed just to tell this is the instruction. Otherwise I'm assuming that when you go to, this becomes a very important subject when you start a new job somewhere, that the new employer doesn't know what you know, what you don't know.
No.
They have to go through the whole thing. If you just tell them, oh, I know this, I know this, I know that, it just becomes annoying. Then which part you don't know? I don't know which part you don't know. The only way to know is just that if I go through the whole thing to make sure that, we are on the right track. So we have to, again, it becomes all a matter of, being open and, asking questions versus, having comments. But anyway, we will continue with this podcast again, because there are a few other examples that I want to bring up, because I want to really get everybody to think about it a little bit. To be honest, since I started kind of preparing for this podcast, I realized I do quite a few of those things, and I'm guilty as charged.
Draw conclusions very quickly, very easily.
Yes, I have done that, and I realized, oh my God, I have made a few mistakes. So I'm not going to put those as an example. I tell about others, not myself. But so I want to bring some other examples that, basically just bring it home, that we realize that where we are making mistakes. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this. And again, remember, life is simple. We make it complicated. And if for the question, again, you can discuss this with other friends to see, and, and yourself to see that what mistake do you make, and then what mistake others make, that, we draw conclusions and why do we do that. Okay. See you guys later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.